What if I told you the modern world was built because people were bored of bland food? Not gold, not oil, not religion, flavor. For most of human history, the most valuable things on earth were tiny, dry, forgettable objects. Peppercorns, cinnamon bark, nutmeg seeds, small enough to hide in your palm, powerful enough to move empires. Today, spices sit quietly in glass jars under fluorescent supermarket lights. But there was a time when a handful of pepper was worth more than a handful of gold. Why? Because in medieval Europe, life tasted like survival. Salted meat, stale bread, long winters, rot. Spices didn't just improve food. They masked decay. They preserved meat. They signaled wealth. They felt like magic. And magic is priceless. But here's the twist. Europe didn't grow them. Spices came from thousands of miles away. India, Indonesia, Sri Lanka. They traveled through deserts, across oceans, through secret ports, controlled by traders who guarded their sources like state secrets. Merchants invented myths. Cinnamon was guarded by monsters. Nutmeg grew on dragon islands. Pepper forests had to be burned to harvest the crop. These weren't fairy tales. They were early corporate misinformation campaigns. Control the story, control the price. At the end of this chain stood Venice. Venice didn't control the farms. It controlled the bottleneck. And that made it rich beyond imagination. Marble palaces, war fleets, financial innovation, all from seasoning. But monopolies create pressure, and pressure creates ambition. So Europe asked a dangerous question. What if we bypass Venice? Columbus didn't sail west to discover America. He sailed west to find a cheaper route to pepper. Vasco da Gama didn't round Africa for glory. He did it for spice margins. Exploration wasn't curiosity. It was cost reduction. And when Europeans finally reached the source, they discovered something shocking. The spices weren't rare. They weren't mystical. They were stacked in warehouses, cheap, abundant. Scarcity had been engineered. Europe responded the only way empires know how, with force. Portugal militarized the Indian Ocean. The Dutch created the first multinational corporation, the VOC, a company powerful enough to wage war. Not metaphorical war, actual war, over nutmeg. The Dutch seized the Banda Islands, the only place nutmeg grew, and eliminated anyone who resisted. One spice, one island, global power. That corporation paid dividends, traded shares, built what became the foundation of the modern stock market. Modern finance was flavored. Then came sugar. Not exotic, not rare, just addictive. Sugar scaled what spices started. Plantations became factories. Trade became industrial. Wealth multiplied. The spice trade didn't just change cuisine. It created the blueprint for globalization. Control choke points. Control supply chains. Control perception. Sound familiar? Today it's not pepper. It's semiconductors, rare earth minerals, shipping canals, data centers. The tools changed. The logic didn't. The first global economy wasn't built on stability. It was built on bottlenecks. And whoever controls the bottleneck controls the future. The world didn't expand because humans were brave. It expanded because humans wanted flavor. And once we tasted profit, we never stopped.